It is the Hit Play show. We're back here with another episode. I'm Isaac, that's James. Today is a semi-exciting one.
Semi.
The Emmy nominations are released. We got that, or I saw the article this morning, and was immediately like, we need to pivot on what we were going to talk about to talk about this. Even though I'm excited for what we're going to talk about next. This is the Prestige Television. For those who maybe don't know what the Emmys are, this is the Prestige Award show for specifically just television. And while it is not as prestigious per se as the Oscars, it is in the industry because it's like basically the main resume builder, especially for a lot of these writers and directors, TV directors, producers, stuff like that. Because I don't want to say everybody can win an Oscar per se, but sometimes we see people nominated for Oscars and we're like, how did you get nominated for an Oscar? But the Emmys is slightly different. I say slightly because the Emmys is still known to be a joke from time to time. But they're not as wild with their, sometimes to a fault. I would say that the Emmys often don't change, which is it's changing this decade for sure. But the Emmys, if you follow the history of this award, you will see the trend of just every hit show of a generation.
I feel like there's a good 10-year period where the opening bit that they do always involved The Office.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's all I remember of the Emmys ever is just
Game of
jokes on The
Thrones.
Office. Yeah.
Game of Thrones was a big one where the intro was always Game of Thrones inspired. And that's, to me anyways, that's one thing I always appreciated about the Emmys more than the Oscars is that it took temperature of the room, for lack of a better word, as far as nominating shows that people were actually talking about. And
I was literally
people were
thinking
actually
that today.
interested about and, watching, and not, some movie that made $4,000.
No, I absolutely agree. I was thinking that earlier today where I was like, the Oscars, you have Oscar season where it's like those movies get released at the same time of the year. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's going to go see those. Even the ones that get nominated are ones that most people wouldn't have heard of if they weren't in the know that they were nominated, out there.
Yeah.
But it's like, at least for the Emmys, they're nominating things that at least people are mostly talking about, I would say.
It also helps that the Emmys, networks and cable studios are no longer adhering to what movie productions are adhering to. Whereas, movie productions, we need to release in December and January because that's, for some reason, that's the arbitrary guideline that we're going on what's going to get nominated for an Oscar. So we're going to release the best movies in December and January. Whereas TV show is literally we're just going to release TV whenever we want. The networks still release all their big shows in the fall. Mm-hmm. I mean, Succession, I think, was in March. Better Call Saul was in May. Ozark was in April. Stranger Things just came out last month. These shows are just everywhere around. White Lotus was last summer. Mm-hmm. And that dominated the summer.
Euphoria was in January.
Euphoria was, I think, January. No, maybe? I don't know.
It was early, super early this year.
Yeah, it was either late 2021 or early 2022. But that's also another thing that's cool, at least in my eyes, about the Emmys, is that television does not adhere to that. Yeah.
Nice.
So we're not gonna go through the actual nominations. I will link an article that has all of the nominations because there's a bunch. There's a lot of categories, stuff like that. We might do a categories, pick our winner. Not today because A, I don't feel like it, and B, the awards isn't even until September.
Yeah.
So we still have time to think and watch some of these shows, which I probably will.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, Are there any big winners? I have a whole list of winners and
Just
losers.
stuff you think is gonna win?
Yeah. No, not necessarily, but just people who won.
Just by being nominated.
Yeah.
Squid Game is the first one that comes to mind
Yes.
for me.
Shout out Squid Game. This
Shout out
is
Squid Game.
the television's parasite.
Just because it's Korean.
Well, I mean, it is the first international television show
yes.
to be nominated for the Best Picture Emmy, anyways.
Yeah, for outstanding drama.
Best
series.
drama, sorry.
Yeah. To me, that as much as we criticize Netflix because it deserves to be criticized, them and all these studios, streaming services, putting a wider range of content from around the world on their platforms, I think allows for stuff like this to happen.
Yeah.
I think Squid Game has the advantage of it was insanely popular. There are tons of other, they could have picked any other Korean drama to put, to nominate for outstanding drama series, but Squid Game was popular. But I hope that in the future this leads to more, not just American television, but more series coming from other places, especially because think about like the comedy section, outstanding comedy series. A lot of like humor is often very specific to like your culture, depending on the kinds of jokes you're making. So like, could an American audience find some other show like? Obviously,
Funny.
Most Americans who watch The British Office are like, "What is this? This isn't funny whatsoever."
That's a great example.
Yeah. So it's like, could an example of like The British Office have been nominated for Outstanding Comedy Series if,
It released now?
Yeah,
Or
something
5
like
years
that.
from now or something like that?
Yeah. I don't know. I just like that Squid Game being nominated opens up the door, or at least sets the precedent that they no longer have an excuse not to nominate foreign series that become popular in America.
There's some voter that's like, damn, I got to nominate those damn foreigners.
Yeah. Some jury member or judge who was like, no, I don't want to read subtitles, guys. Come on.
I just want to turn my brain off and watch TV.
Yeah. That was the first one that came to my mind. What about you?
Rhea Seehorn has finally broken her Emmys curse. After a long time, she was not nominated for any of the seasons of Better Call Saul, which is stupid because she is a phenomenal actress in that television show. She has so much. The problem with award shows is that they tend to go for more flashier, rambunctious roles.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's not necessarily always a problem. But I think this isn't even Emmy specific necessarily. You can name this for any award show in the industry. And the problem with that is you tend to lose characters and actors specifically who really, really excel in more nuanced and control roles, which Kim Wexler is. She is one of the most well-written female characters I think I have ever watched on a television screen. Which is crazy because it was like, Vince Gilligan, you're the guy who literally was just like, Skylar White equals bitch. And she had like no motivation other than, she had like no character other than just like, Walter White is evil and I don't like my husband. But for him to have that level of care and detail in her character, and to peel back layers slowly over the course of these years that we've watched this show is a testament to his writing ability, obviously, but also to Rhea Seehorn, who has to bring that characterization to the big screen or to the small screen. And it is crazy to me that she never got even a nomination. She probably won't win this year because the Emmys are always stacked, and this year is even double stacked with Laura Linney and one or two of these Succession ladies is nominated as well.
Yes, there is J. Smith Cameron, and who plays
Gary. Yeah,
and then Sarah Snook.
Sarah Snook. Yeah, as Shiv.
2 people from one show. That doesn't happen often at the Oscars. Does happen, but nevertheless.
Usually, what happens is it's one actor doing 2 roles.
Yeah.
At the Oscars,
There have
and
been
then
times-
they don't show up.
There was one time where
Shout out Amy.
I think it was like
Adams.
4 actors from Gone with the Wind were nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and then there was one guy from another movie, and he was the one who won it.
They usually end up just splitting
Yeah,
votes.
they all get paid anyway.
But so yeah, that's my big winner of the. Very happy.
Now, do you think Better Call Saul? First, do you think it is the greatest show on television right now? And second, do you think that it's going to win any of its nominations, including Outstanding Drama Series?
I think. So this is where the Emmys, the history of the award comes into play, where it is very well known that once you win an Emmy once, you are always gonna win until your show ends. I mean, we saw that with Game of Thrones, which won Best Outstanding Drama for some stupid reason, even in season 7.
Oddly enough, season 8 was nominated for Outstanding Comedy.
So yeah, I don't think it will, just because Succession last time it came out with episodes 1, which was in 2020, because last year it didn't have, or the last award show, I should say, wasn't at the
Nominated.
it wasn't nominated because it didn't have anything. So with that being said, I don't think so. I don't expect it to win, but I'm just happy we're here.
Well, you've kept up with Succession. Do you
Yes.
feel like that has a good chance?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think Succession is gonna win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understandable.
It's really, like I said, it's really hard for a show to just stop winning,
yeah.
especially when it's still really, really high quality, which Succession is for sure, really, really high quality. I think it has the most nominations this year, 25 in total, which is a lot, including, I think there's 2 in supporting or main actor, 2 in supporting actor, and 2 in lead actress. And then, all the numerous like directing and writing and all those jobs that paid a lot of money but not a lot of fame.
So then when it comes to lead actor in a drama series, Brian Cox and Jeremy Strong are both nominated.
Yes.
So is Bob Odenkirk.
Yes.
Actually. Are they going to give it to Adam Scott for Severance?
This is how we get Jason Bateman
Out of nowhere.
halfway through to an EGOT. Or I guess he already has an Emmy. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting this year for sure, because the funny thing about it, we should have prefaced this, is everything got pushed back because of the pandemic. So like all of the good shows got pushed back, and they're all coming out now, which is creating such a
Almost like a bottleneck. kind
yeah,
of.
it's crazy the amount of, like, you just go through the limited series is stacked to the bottom, top to bottom, and on all the categories of limited series. So I think it's gonna be a really, really interesting year. I just don't know, man. I don't know, because like you could say having 2 actors from one show would split the votes, and it would be a 3rd actor. But would that 3rd actor necessarily be Bob Odenkirk?
Yeah, probably not.
I don't know. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's crazy. I'm just glad I'm not a gambler, because I would gamble on the award shows like crazy. Sometimes I'm very happy that gambling's not legal in Texas.
To your point, not about gambling, for best comedy series, that to me was the category where I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can pick. I can pick shows that I like haven't really heard much about and maybe say those might win because I don't know anything about them. But when you get Abbott Elementary, which I've heard good things about, Barry, which I have heard is absolutely like bonkers, Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is consistent as always, right?
Shout out.
Shout out.
We like Larry David.
Ted Lasso, which
Won a lot. This is a
Yeah.
category actually last year or last time out.
Here's the thing with Ted Lasso. I feel like I only have ever seen 5 people talk about Ted Lasso. And I feel like every one of those people said that it was the greatest thing they'd ever seen in their life.
Does it help that it's on the Apple TV?
It's not for me, but everyone says it's amazing. At least everyone I've seen.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen many people watch it.
Exactly.
So I don't know what I mean. That's like, it's a small sample size, but at least they like, it's probably skewed a little bit. And then What We Do in the Shadows, which I feel like isn't gonna win, but it's a fantastic show. And
We're just happy to be
highly
here.
recommend it to everybody. Yeah.
The Emmys is definitely one of those things. Like at Oscars, I get visibly upset when, or not visibly upset, but I get upset when things I don't like don't win, or things I like don't win.
Or aren't even nominated, like The Green Knight.
Right. Exactly. Or freaking Denis Villeneuve, but here nor there. But when it's like Better Call Saul or What We Do in the Shadows, I'm like, I'm glad to be
They're
a part of it.
you get a nomination. You get a nomination.
I'm just glad to be here. I'm happy we're here. It's a good day.
Nothing for The Boys, which is fair because they
I think it just came out.
released their
Yeah.
season. So, and then outside of that, some of these shows. Okay, so for limited or anthology series, I've heard The Dropout is good, based on the true story of Elizabeth Banks.
Yes.
Which is an interesting tale. Kind of a wingnut. And then you have The White Lotus, which I have also just heard
Dominated last summer.
is very good.
I couldn't go 5 feet without somebody like on Instagram per se. I couldn't go like 3 scrolls without somebody talking about White Lotus or some Instagram page talking about White Lotus.
In my opinion, I feel like maybe outside of Succession and Barry, I feel like it was this last year or two was pretty weak for HBO.
Which is funny you say that because they have the most nominations.
They have the most nominations because they've produced a lot of stuff, but I don't feel like I haven't heard the same praise out of everything that I have before. I feel like with The White Lotus, like you were saying, the first season of it, everyone was saying that it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, cool. And then with Euphoria, the first season, everyone was like, this is fantastic and it looks amazing. And I was like, cool. But I haven't heard anything about the second season.
Nobody likes the second season.
Oh, White Lotus.
Well, there's no second season of White Lotus.
Oh, yeah, it's just nominated again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, well, no, it wasn't nominated last year.
Oh, you said it was.
It came out last year.
It came out last year.
Yeah.
I thought you said it was nominated last year.
No.
I was like, why is it in the limited series if it's nominated again?
No.
I was like, what are you talking about?
No, it came out last year.
Yeah. And then the second season of Euphoria, I feel like everyone just abandoned ship.
As
People
they
were like,
should.
Wait a second.
As they should.
This show sucks.
As they should. Well, do you think that's a product of HBO though? Because and we've had this discussion many a time, where there's 2 philosophies to the way you make content. Do you just put all your eggs in a couple baskets, or do you put as many baskets out on the patio? I don't know where I'm going with that analogy.
I think for HBO specifically, they do better when they put all their eggs in the one basket.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
I agree.
I feel like if HBO ever has more than 3 shows in production at a time, they're doing something wrong.
Yeah. When you start to see, a show is nearing its end when you start seeing multiple advertisements after said show that you just watched.
Yeah.
Because I remember when Game of Thrones was ending, and it was like, "Hey, we're coming out with Eastbound and Down. Here's Chernobyl. Here's this. Here's that." I'm like, "Oh, you guys are fishing." So you guys are in a bind right now. But it's funny you say that though, because Netflix is also down from last season.
Yes.
They were at 160 last year. Now they're at 105 nominations to be in second place. Yeah, a lot of their big staples didn't do so well. There wasn't any. Bridgerton was a big one that people, no, I don't want to say people, but was snubbed. Snubbed, quotation marks around snubbed. I don't care for that show. Didn't deserve anything. Stranger Things wasn't a biggest hit, big as a hit. this time around. I'm missing one more. There was one more. Ozark did okay.
Ozark at least has gotten nominated.
And won.
Yeah.
And what else? I'm missing one more. Anyways. But yeah, it feels like Netflix took a big step back this year.
Yeah, Squid Game was their biggest pull out of everything.
Mm-hmm. And Hulu. We got to shout out Hulu real quick. Came in third place, which is a big plus for them as they try and carve a niche. Is it a niche?
Don't worry about it.
As they try and carve a place in the streaming world.
They have Only Murders in the Building.
Yes.
Which I haven't heard very much about it, whether it's good or not. But, I mean, Steve Martin, Selena Gomez. I mean, that just those two right there.
Steve Martin says Selena Gomez got snubbed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, as a Selena Gomez fan, I'm going to say yes. She did get snubbed. No. But they had 58 total, which doubled their previous highest. Yeah. Their third total out of all the studios, production companies, whatever you want to call them. Which I think is interesting because we're in this era, or Hulu at least is in this era where they don't know what they're going to be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They are owned by Disney, and Disney is stripping away. I mean, they just stripped away Fox. So everybody's looking at Hulu like, is it going to get sold?
Yeah.
Is it going to get spun off?
It's the Grim Reaper knocking at each door.
Yeah. What is it going to be? Because Disney has Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. So why does it need to have two separate? This is in the minds of the Disney executives. Why would two separate apps need to be a thing?
Because Disney, I feel like their brand focuses heavily on franchised material.
I agree.
I feel like that's really where Hulu should be, where they, or at least the focus they put on Hulu is the non-franchise, just the kind of the one-off things, right? Not so much one-offs, but also just like the Disney content that isn't necessarily related to the Disney brand, as
the Disney umbrella. Yeah,
nothing associated with the Mouse or the Star Wars or the
superheroes.
Yeah, that's really because like that's Disney's brand is all that stuff, but the one-off kind of stuff they have off to the side, like Fox and Hulu and all that, or at least Fox they did have. Yeah, that's why I think Hulu is going to be for them.
Which it should be. Because we need more out there. Yeah. Which is another thing
that Disney's Adult Swim.
Another thing I noticed about this nomination list, which I was very happy about, is there's just the landscape of television is getting wider and wider. We mentioned the Squid Game, which is obviously great, but also like Hulu, HBO Max, Netflix, HBO. I think Showtime has a couple nominations in there. Prime, CBS, NBC, I think has a couple. It's like there's a wide mixture of network, cable, streaming, that is starting to be shown at this show, at this awards, which is good because unlike the Oscars, which it struggles to embrace change. The Emmys is always at the forefront of we're going to embrace what people are watching. I mean, like The Sopranos was the first cable television to ever be nominated. And literally, if you had nominated that show 10 years earlier, everybody would have said, this is a joke. But the Emmys were like, this is just good television. It deserves to be celebrated. It deserves to be recognized. We're going to put it here. It belongs here.
I also noticed that outside of FX and AMC, not many other networks have TV shows. Yeah. Like the variety and the competition, all that, it's all ABC and NBC and all those guys. But when it comes to like fiction, it's all streaming basically, I think. Whether that's just because they, like all these networks have streaming services anyway, so they just are releasing stuff there that's getting nominated, or we as audience members just prefer watching it in that format anyway.
I also think it's the people who make the shows are going to where people
watch.
It's like a what is it, catch-22
Yeah.
situation where these people are going to these places because it's more accessible for it's a lot easier to sign up for a freaking streaming app than it is to sign up for cable television. I mean, we know that. So
Yes.
these guys who make the shows, I shouldn't say guys, the people who make the shows and the quote unquote good talent, quotation marks around good, whatever. They're going to those platforms because that is where the money is. That is where the eyeballs are. I mean, the name of the game is ratings, and is eyeballs to TV equals money in my pocket. And I think we're seeing this trend of. I mean, we see it with Netflix, right? Netflix bought David Fincher, and was like, "Yo, just come make movies for us."
Yeah.
They
almost bought Martin Scorsese.
They almost bought Martin Scorsese. I mean, Martin Scorsese's making a movie with Apple.
Yeah.
So I think that's just the name of the game now. Is just that's where the talent, at least in television, that's where the talent is going. It's just these. I'm looking for a word, like monstrosities, I guess.
Conglomerates.
There you go,
All
conglomerates. That's a better word for me.
Let's talk about some dumb stuff now.
Yeah.
Outstanding competition program. No Bachelor.
Also, where is Drive to Survive?
Yeah, where is Drive to Survive?
I'm not gonna lie, those first couple episodes of Drive to Survive, kind of whack, kind of like whatever. It's just reality TV for men. Those last two episodes where it's Jeddah
Yeah.
and not Bahrain, Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Greatest television I've ever watched in my life.
And I saw it live.
I watched it live and I was still like, oh my God.
Nice.
It was great. It was
Where's
great.
Drive to Survive? Come on. Yeah, no
But, like,
Bachelor
actually.
for outstanding competition. Clayton did all that for nothing. Outstanding variety.
I'll say this about Clayton: he threw us for curveballs. He threw a lot. He made that. He
has a career in the MLB.
This was Al Pacino in the Club Cabana. This was I don't even know, Ray Liotta in the diner. Like, put the team on my back. I'm taking us to the promised land. That's what Clayton did in that season of The Bachelor.
All right. Outstanding variety talk series. It's probably going to go to John Oliver, really, or Trevor Noah too, since he's always consistent. Really sad to not see James Corden nominated though. Outstanding variety special live. You have the Oscars.
Are you kidding me?
And the Pepsi halftime show.
Ooh,
It's going to go to one of the Tonys too.
I'm down
and
with the
Grammys.
halftime show.
I don't know. Is the Oscars worth winning an Emmy?
No,
You think Amy Schumer got in that Spider-Man costume for nothing?
the Oscars as a product, not even as a product, as a presentation is terrible.
It's going to go to that.
I'm not getting
halftime
into
show.
that rant again. We went on a whole rant about that.
All right. Outstanding variety special, pre-recorded. Dave Chappelle, his controversial Netflix special, The Closer,
No comment on that one.
as well as Norm Macdonald's last.
Which has it come out yet?
I believe it has. I don't remember if it's.
I guess it has.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
posthumous.
It is.
It
No,
is.
no. He recorded it before he died.
Yeah, it's released posthumously.
He recorded it specifically for if he died.
So, I mean, if they give it to Dave Chappelle,
I kind of want to see them do it just to see Reddit. I
That
want to
would
see
be
Reddit flip out. I love when Reddit flips out.
I mean, Norm Macdonald, I hope he wins because he is just a fantastic comedian. He's one of my favorite comedians of all time. But just the fact that Dave Chappelle is nominated for that, the fact that they looked at the list of stuff and they were like, we could freaking nominate Triumph of the Will, but we're going to go with Dave Chappelle instead.
Love it.
Just pick any other stupid propaganda thing from history. Why would they nominate that?
What else do I have in my notes?
So ridiculous. Okay.
I don't really have anything else. Shout out, This Is Us and Blackish. Your final seasons were not nominated. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Julia Garner and Sydney Sweeney for being nominated in multiple categories. It's very even. Okay, I'm not gonna stop. It's difficult to be even nominated in one.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to them. Probably won't win either of those, but you never know. We like a good underdog.
I think outside of that, the only other random category I can make a prediction is outstanding directing.
Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman. Yeah. You think you were gonna say that?
Yeah. His directing in Ozark is some of the best TV directing ever. It is It is unreal. There are people who are more educated on directing that break down his videos way better than I ever could, especially as we're recording and on the spot. But he is fantastic in terms of what he does with the camera and with actors.
Mm-hmm. My prediction was going to be Atlanta for best comedy series, because despite being a comedy, that show just is way too
dark.
Yeah, like visually, I guess I should say, for what it deserves. If they give it to Ted Lasso, though, I'm going to be mad because I have seen clips from Ted Lasso, and it doesn't look that good.
Speaking of directing, no director or cinematographer nods for Better Call Saul, which is a disgrace. It is the best use of cinematography in the sense of storytelling without saying any words. Storytelling with a camera, which is what cinematography in its purest form is. I think it probably does it the best. There are so many shots and techniques they use with the camera and with lighting where I'm like, that is so smart. Like, it is constant reflections, mirrors, like cameras going in weird spots and like stuff like that where it's showing you the action, but it's drawing your attention to certain things. It is by far the smartest use of a camera I've seen. And it's a television show. Like, I understand, like, it takes a long time to be like, you know what, let's stick a camera on a garage door.
Yeah.
For one shot.
Yeah.
That's an hour and a half setup for a 10-second shot.
Yeah. Outside of that, Chadwick Boseman is nominated for best character voiceover performance for What If. So another posthumous nomination for him. Whether he will actually win this, unlike what the Oscars did, where they made a freaking...
At least he was nominated.
He was nominated. I'm still mad about that NFT.
I mean, he wasn't nominated at the Oscars, is what I'm saying. Like, at least he's nominated here.
The stupid NFT makes me so mad. I can't believe they did that. And then Barack Obama is nominated for a national parks, our great national parks at Netflix.
Shout out
to Barack Obama.
Shout out.
Is he going to win in the Epcot?
This is where we start the EGOT for Barack Obama.
EGOT. Imagine. This is such a dumb scenario. Imagine if one of the drivers was nominated for Drive to Survive. Like, Fernando Alonso wins an Emmy. So now he has an Emmy. He's won the 24-hour of Le Mans. And he's won the Formula 1 championship.
That's the Triple Crown, I think.
That's the real Triple Crown right there. Get on that.
Oh, man, that's funny. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I think we hit all of our main points.
Outstanding animated program. So The Simpsons is nominated. Again.
Like we said, if you win one, you're going to keep showing up.
Rick and Morty, I don't think that's going to win at all.
Does anybody even watch Rick and Morty?
People have completely jumped off that ship.
When did you jump off that ship?
Season 1.
I jumped off season 3.
Bob's Burgers, which is a great show.
That's probably the one that's going to win.
It's probably going to win. I want to give a shout out to Arcane on Netflix because it's not going to win because it's probably way too niche, Friedrich Nietzsche, for the Emmys because it's about a video game. But the animation in that show is
high quality,
fantastic.
Shout out.
Absolutely crazy.
Shout out.
And then The Boys is not nominated, but their animated spin-off series is nominated. I mean, it's
Wait a minute,
Mouse
did we not get any? I guess that would have been last year. I was thinking of Invincible.
Yeah.
Any shows that were nominated that you're interested in watching, whether they're first time nominations or repeat nominations?
Yes, The Simpsons, all of it.
All 40 seasons.
You know, I probably should get on Better Call Saul.
Remember when we had a professor, Mayday? Shout out Greg
Shout
Mayday
out-
if you
shout
watch
out
this.
him.
You probably don't, but shout out to you anyways.
Only
It was
thing you would
like-
ever talk about.
Yeah, who was like, this might be better than Breaking Bad, and literally everybody in the room was like, all right, you're a crazy old man.
Mm-hmm.
I just caught up to it. He's not crazy.
Yeah, so I've heard.
He's very valid in his. Yeah, I could go on and on about Better Call Saul, so I'll just stop there. Anything else? Ozark, Squid Game, Are you gonna finally watch Stranger Things?
No, I'm not gonna watch Stranger Things. I don't care at all. If my opinions on Top Gun and Point Break from our last episode is any indication, I don't care for 80s nostalgia whatsoever.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that was when season 1 dropped. Say Stranger Things, everyone was like, "Oh, it's so 80s." I was like, "Bye, not for me, not for me."
Any snubs? I hate the word snubs.
Any snubs?
Here's my thing. Before we start this rule, before we start this
Bachelor.
game, before we start this exercise, if you're gonna say someone is a snub, you have to take somebody out of a category.
That's a good one. I just put my laptop away, so I can't even
I
look
don't
at
know
the
why
list.
you did that. We're still recording. The bell doesn't dismiss you. I do.
Fair enough. No, I can't think of anything.
Because Selena Gomez was internet's biggest snub. Sadie Sink from Stranger Things was everybody's biggest snub. By the way, if you're under 16 years old, you're not getting nominated for an Emmy. That's just not happening.
Is that your rule, or is that just historically what you
Both.
think? Yeah,
Both.
understandable.
Like yes, you were a good child actor. By the way, she's probably like 20. But
you're not a
anyways,
real
my point stands. She's probably a good child actor, but like you're going up against Connie Britton
Yeah,
and Julia Garner and like seasoned veterans
yeah.
who are actually know the nuances of
Yeah.
acting.
Unless you're the kid from Room, you are not.
Well, that kid knocked it out of the park.
Oh yeah,
That's different. He's the exception, not the rule. Not the rule.
understandable. No, I have nothing. What about you?
No, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, besides directing and cinematography
That's true.
for Better Call Saul.
I think, like you said, though, we've had such a like the floodgates open for just
Yeah.
the
But it's
amount of
hard to
quality
say-
television.
it's hard to say this doesn't deserve to be nominated. Even though I could probably make a point. But
Yeah,
I'm just glad all the good shows were nominated. I'm glad
yeah. I'm glad they got rid of all the bad shows.
bad shows no longer exist.
Mhm.
So I'm glad we have somebody doing something right in this country.
At least television can get it right.
Eradicating all the bad.
Yeah, my only snub is The Bachelor. Take out all the other nominees. There's just one.
Where is I'm trying to think of a garbage Netflix show.
A garbage Netflix show. Selling Sunset was nominated for unstructured
Where is
show.
Emily in Paris?
It's like it's been years since it's come out with a season and it still gets nominated.
Where are you, Emily?
The only reason Selling Sunset is funny to me, being nominated for best unstructured, I think it's like unstructured variety show or something like that, is the fact that you can look this up. There are multiple clips of all the employees on that show at their computers doing nothing. Like their computers aren't even turned on.
I love it.
And this is like a retail, like these people are selling you like multi-million-dollar houses. And they just like, they're on Google. They're not even searching anything.
Do you what else? What category should be a category for the Emmys?
I think they should take some of the more technical categories and move them up in terms of importance, in terms of airtime.
Mm-hmm.
There's categories for writing. There are the categories for all of the like the Norm Macdonald and Dave Chappelle, their category stuff like that. Those usually don't get the airtime on the actual Emmys, mostly because there's a lot of people nominated for those, especially for the writers.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
but I definitely think taking stuff like possibly production design or directing and moving that up in terms of importance in the award show. For example, the daytime Emmys, they do fine nominating writing. Like that is exactly what it's for, basically.
To be fair, nobody watches the daytime Emmys.
It's one of those things where it's like, here's what's so funny about the daytime Emmys. No one watches it. Like no audience member watches it
Is it even a
whatsoever.
thing?
I don't even know if they air it.
Yeah.
It's probably
I was
like on
gonna say,
streaming.
It's on PBS.
But if you work in the industry, like if you're a writer and you've won a daytime Emmy, like that's your.
You have a
for the
job
rest of your
anywhere.
career. You have a job at anywhere. But like no one, like it's not sold to the public whatsoever. Most people probably don't even know it's a thing.
Yeah, the daytime Emmys is definitely the biggest disconnect from like our society and the industry.
Society, if people watch the daytime Emmys. Yeah, no. That's what I would say though is taking like directing and moving that up in terms of
and celebrating it more.
Yeah,
I will say this about the Emmys, and this will be my parting thought: is we said it's willing to embrace change in the industry, but it's also willing to embrace just newcomers, like talent wise.
Yeah.
We have a whole lot of new nominations as far as shows. A lot of shows were kicked off. And like writers and stuff and actors especially. They don't necessarily have to be big names. Like Jared Leto wasn't nominated for anything for Bless. I think Nicole Kidman was nominated for something, or she came out with the show. God, I hate those ads. I've only been in an AMC once, and I hate that ad. I think Anne Hathaway was in something too, where it was like, yeah, you would if you were an Oscar, yeah. If this was the Oscars, you're in because you're a big name. But the Emmys is like, no, you didn't make a good TV show.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? What you think you just get a free ticket? It's like, nah, girl, you got to make something good.
I don't know. They nominated Rick and Morty.
Okay, but yeah, but that's comedy. That's animation comedy. It's not the same.
I have no parting thoughts outside of this.
Cool. Are we gonna tease what we're doing next week?
I think we just did.
I'll just say this as a parting gift.